The air in the command bunker was stale and hot. Samantha Wright had been awake for nearly 30 hours straight. Her eyes burned as she stared at the communications panel. Outside, the sky over New Portland glowed orange from fires that wouldn't stop burning. The colony on Proxima Prime had been under attack for 23 days now. Anything? Lieutenant Commander Alan Garcia asked as he walked up behind her. Samantha shook her head. No responses. I've sent the distress call on all emergency channels. She took a sip of cold coffee and grimaced. Even if someone heard us, the nearest Earthship is weeks away. Alan nodded and looked at the large display screen that showed their situation. The shield protecting their main settlement was failing. The alien ships hung in orbit like dark birds waiting for their prey to tire. The door to the command bunker slid open. Governor Patrick Mills entered, his face gray with exhaustion. The once proud leader of 15,000 colonists now looked 20 years older than his actual age. Report, he said simply. Alan pointed to the shield readout. 12% power remaining. The eastern generator failed completely after that last bombardment. We have 36 hours at most before total shield collapse. The governor closed, his eyes for a moment. And our weapons? 2 orbital defense platforms still partially operational. Ground-based cannons at 20% capacity. Alan kept his voice steady, but everyone knew what these numbers meant. They could not win this fight. I should address the people, Mills said. They deserve to know. Samantha swiveled in her chair. Sir, I think we should keep trying. The Krell Nash have never encountered serious resistance from us. Maybe they'll accept terms. The governor smiled sadly. They came here to take our world, Officer Wright. They didn't travel across space to negotiate. The Krell Nash had appeared 3 weeks earlier at the edge of their system. The alien species was known to humans, but only through distant encounters and second-hand reports. Tall with 4 arms and skin that changed color with their emotions, they were warriors from an ancient empire. Their technology was at least a century ahead of Earth's. Their demand had been simple: surrender the planet, or be destroyed. When Governor Mills asked for time to contact Earth, the Krell Nash response came in the form of plasma torpedoes that destroyed their main communication array and 2 defense platforms. The bunker shook suddenly. Dust fell from the ceiling as another impact hit somewhere in the city above. Status, Alan called out. A young officer named Peter Ross checked his screen. Direct hit on the hospital complex, sir. The shield held, but it's down to 11% now. Governor Mills placed his hand on Samantha's shoulder. Keep sending the signal, Officer Wright. It's all we can do now. Deep in space, far beyond, where the colonists could detect, a sleek black ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Unlike the bulky transport vessels or standard military cruisers used by Earth forces, this ship looked like a weapon itself. Sharp angles and smooth curves blended together in its design. No lights shone from its hull, which seemed to absorb the starlight around it. On its bridge, Captain Benjamin Davis stood with his hands clasped behind his back. The veteran officer had been selected personally to command humanity's most advanced warship, the UES Vengeance. The ship wasn't supposed to exist according to official records. It had never appeared in any public announcement or military parade. It was Earth's secret weapon, built with technologies that most humans didn't know had been discovered. Signal analysis complete, Captain, said Lieutenant Olivia Pierce from her station. It's definitely a human distress call from Proxima Prime, colony under attack by Krell Nash forces. Commander Nicole Taylor, the ship's executive officer, approached her captain. Sir, our orders are explicit. We're on a shakedown cruise to test systems. Fleet Command ordered radio silence and no engagement with any forces. Davis nodded slowly. His weathered face revealed nothing of his thoughts. How many colonists on Proxima Prime, Commander? Records show approximately 15,000, sir. And how long would it take the nearest official response vessel to reach them? Taylor consulted her datapad. The UEF Nebraska could arrive in 22 days at emergency speed, by which time the colony will be destroyed or conquered, Davis said. He turned to face the main view screen, which showed the distant star of Proxima. Lieutenant Howard, how long to reach Proxima Prime at maximum thrust? Timothy Howard, the ship's navigation officer, calculated quickly. 8 hours, sir. A silence fell over the bridge. Everyone understood the significance of the question. Captain Davis was considering disobeying direct orders. Sir, Commander Taylor said quietly, revealing the existence of the Vengeance could have serious strategic consequences. This ship represents technologies we've kept hidden for years. Davis finally turned to face his crew. His blue eyes were clear and determined. What is the purpose of this ship, Commander? Why was it built? To defend Earth and her colonies, sir. Exactly. Davis straightened his uniform. Plot an intercept course to Proxima Prime. Prepare all combat systems for engagement. We will approach at maximum speed. The bridge crew exchanged glances but moved to obey. The Vengeance's engines powered up, pushing the massive ship to speeds that no other human vessel could achieve. Weapon status? Davis asked. Lieutenant Pierce reviewed her console. Conventional systems at full capacity. Railguns, missiles, and point defense grid all operational. The matter displacement cannon requires full power, which will take 20 minutes to generate once we arrive in system. The matter displacement cannon was the most secret of the ship's weapons. Based on recovered alien technology, it could theoretically tear apart the atomic structure of its targets. It had never been used in actual combat. Communications, send. No response to the distress call, Davis ordered. We'll be our own response. Back on Proxima Prime, night had fallen over New Portland. The shield above the colony glowed purple where Krell Nash weapons occasionally struck it. Most of the aliens' ships had pulled back, seemingly content to wait until the humans' defenses failed completely. In the command bunker, Samantha Wright continued sending her message into space. This is Proxima Prime Colony calling any Earth forces. We are under attack by Krell Nash fleet. Shields failing. Request immediate assistance. This is Proxima Prime. She didn't know that help was already coming. She couldn't know that within hours, the Krell Nash would learn a terrible lesson about humanity, that humans protect their own, and that the peaceful, technologically inferior species they had chosen to attack had teeth it had not yet shown. To the galaxy, the UES Vengeance sliced through space, its classified engines pushing it closer to Proxima Prime with each passing minute. In his quarters, Captain Davis reviewed the ship's capabilities one final time. Soon, the most dangerous ship humanity had ever built would reveal itself to the enemy, and the galaxy would never be the same. Supreme Hunter Vextor stood on the command platform of his flagship. His scaled skin shifted from deep blue to purple as he studied the human colony below. The four-armed alien warrior had conquered 3 worlds before this one. Humans were not impressive enemies. Their technology was basic, their weapons were weak, their ships were slow. Status of the human shields? He asked his second-in-command. Failing, Supreme Hunter. Our sensors show 11% power remaining. They will collapse within 1-day cycle. Vextor made a clicking sound with his mouthparts. This was satisfying. The humans had fought better than expected, but the end was certain. His fleet of 30 warships had lost only 2 vessels in the initial attack. A fair trade for such a resource-rich world. Prepare the ground forces, Vextor ordered. When their shields fail, we will take the colony intact. I want prisoners for study. On the bridge of the UES Vengeance, Captain Davis watched his crew prepare for battle. They were 4 hours away from Proxima Prime. Every minute brought them closer to a fight that would reveal Earth's best-kept secret. Captain, may I speak freely? Commander Taylor asked quietly. Davis nodded, and they stepped away from the main crew stations. Sir, I understand your decision to help the colony, she said. But we should consider a limited engagement. We could drive off enough enemy ships to evacuate the colonists without revealing all our capabilities. Davis considered her words. Nicole Taylor was a good officer, thinking of the bigger picture. The Vengeance had been built in secret for a reason. Your concern is noted, Commander, he said finally. But limiting our response might not save those people. And what message would that send to the Krell Nash and other species? That humans will only have to fend their own. He turned to face the view screen again. No. If we do this, we do it completely. The Krell Nash chose to attack a human colony. They should learn what that means. Lieutenant Howard called from his station. Captain, we're picking up additional Krell-Nash communications. They're preparing for a ground invasion once the colony's shields fail. Davis's expression hardened. Increase speed. Let's see if we can squeeze another half hour off our arrival time. In the command bunker on Proxima Prime, Lieutenant Commander Garcia was organizing the last of their defenses. Each remaining colonist old enough to hold a weapon had been given basic training. They wouldn't win against Krell-Nash warriors, but they would make the aliens pay for every building, every street. Shield status? He asked the young technician monitoring the systems. 9%, sir. The north section is particularly weak. If they concentrate fire there, it could fail within hours. Governor Mills entered the room with a group of civilian leaders. Their faces showed fear, but also determination. We've completed the evacuations to the deep shelters, a woman named Susan Bailey reported. All children under 14 and essential medical personnel are below ground level. Mills nodded. Good work. When the shields fail, those shelters are our last hope. Samantha Wright had been allowed a brief 4-hour sleep shift. Now she was back at her communications station, still sending the distress call. Her voice had grown hoarse from repeating the same message for days. This is Proxima Prime Colony calling any Earth forces. We are under attack. She paused as her screen showed an unusual reading. Sir, I'm detecting something at the edge of our sensor range. Garcia rushed to her station. Krell-Nash reinforcements? Samantha adjusted her equipment. No, the energy signature is different. It's moving much faster than any Krell-Nash ship we've tracked. On his flagship, Supreme Hunter Vextor was also receiving alerts. His sensor officer's skin had turned bright yellow, a sign of confusion or alarm among their species. Report, Vextor demanded. Supreme Hunter, we detect an unknown vessel approaching at extremely high velocity. It appears to be using a form of faster-than-light travel we haven't encountered before. This was unexpected. The humans nearest help should be weeks away. Origin? Unknown, but the energy signature suggests human technology, though far more advanced than anything in our records. Vextor's skin darkened. Show me. The tactical display revealed an object moving toward them at incredible speed. It would reach their position in less than 30 minutes. Alert all ships, the Supreme Hunter ordered. Move into defensive formation. This may be some kind of deception. On the Vengeance, the crew had spotted the Krell-Nash fleet. 30 vessels in orbit around Proxima Prime, Lieutenant Pierce reported. Their main group is repositioning. They've detected us. Captain Davis stood from his command chair. They're confused. Good. Lieutenant Pierce, ready all conventional weapons. We'll save the matter displacement cannon for when we need it most. Commander Taylor reviewed the tactical data. Sir, their ships are arranging in a standard defense pattern. They're expecting us to slow down before engagement. A small smile touched Davis's lips. Then let's surprise them. Maintain current speed until the last possible moment. Target their outlying vessels first. The crew worked with focused intensity. Many had families on Earth's outer colonies. They all understood what was at stake. Communications, Davis said. Prepare a tight beam message to the colony. We'll send it once we engage the enemy. On Proxima Prime, the colonists watched their sensor displays with growing hope and confusion. The unknown object was definitely a ship, and it was moving faster than anything they had ever seen. But whose ship? The nearest human vessel should be weeks away. Could it be a new Earth ship? Governor Mills asked. Garcia shook his head. Nothing in our fleet can move that fast. Unless what? Samantha asked. There have been rumors, Garcia said quietly. Stories about a black project, a ship being built with technologies not officially acknowledged by Earth government. Most military officers dismiss it as fantasy. The bunker shook as another bombardment hit the weakening shields. Shield status at 7%, a technician called. Out. North sector failing. In space, the UES Vengeance reached the outer edge of the Krell-Nash fleet. Unlike normal human ships, it didn't slow down to engage. Instead, It shot through the alien formation at nearly full speed, its advanced targeting systems firing railguns and conventional missiles with perfect accuracy. 3 Krell-Nash vessels erupted in explosions before they could even return fire. On his flagship, Vextor watched in disbelief. "What manner of ship is this? Report." It's human-designed Supreme Hunter, but unlike any we have encountered. Size is approximately double their largest known warships. Weapons technology far exceeds our intelligence reports. Return. Fire. All ships. But the Vengeance was already past their first line of defense, curving around for another attack run. Its black hull seemed to absorb the energy weapons the Krell-Nash fired, their impacts leaving only faint blue marks that quickly faded. "Colony shields at 5%, someone reported in the New Portland bunker. Then a new voice came through their communication system. Strong, confident, human. Proxima Prime Colony. This is Captain Benjamin Davis of the UES Vengeance. Got? Received your distress call. Hold position and maintain your shields. Help has arrived." In the command bunker, tears streamed down Samantha Wright's face as cheers erupted around her. Outside, the sky lit up with explosions as Earth's most dangerous ship began to tear apart the Krell-Nash fleet. The UES Vengeance moved like no human ship had ever moved before. It twisted and turned through space, dodging Krell-Nash energy beams while firing its own weapons with deadly accuracy. 5 alien ships were already damaged or destroyed, and Captain Davis hadn't even deployed their most powerful weapon yet. "Shields holding at 84%, Lieutenant Howard reported from his station. The ship shook as it absorbed another hit. "Correction, 82%. Davis nodded calmly. "Lieutenant Pierce, target their support vessels. Take out their repair ships first." "Yes, sir." Olivia Pierce adjusted her targeting systems. The weapons console lit up as railguns fired, sending hyper-accelerated metal projectiles through the hulls of 2 Krell-Nash support ships. On the bridge of his flagship, Supreme Hunter Vextor was struggling to understand what was happening. His fleet had faced human vessels before. They were slow, weakly armed, and easily destroyed. This black ship was something else entirely. "All ships concentrate fire," he ordered. "Surround and destroy this vessel." 20 Krell-Nash warships moved to encircle the Vengeance. Their weapons created a web of deadly energy beams all focused on the human ship. The space around the Vengeance lit up like a small sun as weapons fire connected with its shields. "Shields at 75%, Howard called out. "The regenerative matrix is working as designed. Shields are repairing themselves even as they take damage." Commander Taylor stood beside Captain Davis. "Their tactics are predictable. They're trying to use overwhelming force rather than strategy." Davis watched the tactical display. "Then let's show them some strategy. Navigation. Execute pattern Sigma 3. The Vengeance suddenly accelerated directly toward the largest cluster of Krell-Nash ships. It looked like a suicide run. At the last possible moment, the human ship fired thrusters in a complex pattern, spinning between 2 alien vessels. The maneuver caused several Krell-Nash ships to fire at each other as the Vengeance passed between them. 2 more enemy vessels, damaged by friendly fire, Pierce reported with satisfaction. Davis turned to his weapons officer. "Status of the matter displacement cannon?" "Charging, sir. 10 more minutes until full power." In the command bunker on Proxima Prime, hope had replaced despair. The colonists watched their sensor displays with amazement as the unknown Earthship battled the aliens who had terrorized them for weeks. "Look at it move," Garcia said in wonder. "No human ship should be able to maneuver like that." "Governor." Mills was focused on practical matters. "Our shields are still failing. We're at 4% now. Can this one ship really defeat their entire fleet in time?" Samantha Wright was trying to establish better communications with their rescuers. "UES Vengeance, this is Proxima Prime. We're reading your engagement with enemy forces. Our situation remains critical. Shield failure imminent." Captain Davis's voice came back clear and confident. "Understood, Proxima Prime. We're aware of your shield status. Be advised, we're drawing their fleet away from your position to reduce bombardment. Hold on a little longer." Vexator watched with growing rage as the human ship continued to evade. their best efforts. His skin had turned a deep red, showing his anger and frustration. "They're making fools of us," he growled to his officers. "This ship is too valuable to destroy. I want it captured. We must learn how the humans built such a vessel." His second-in-command looked doubtful. "Capture may not be possible, Supreme Hunter. Its defenses are unlike anything we've encountered." "Then, change tactics," Vextor ordered. "Divert 3 squadrons back to the colony. If we can't defeat this ship directly, we'll force it to choose between fighting us and protecting the humans on the surface." 9 Krellnash destroyers broke away from the main battle and turned back toward Proxima Prime. Their weapons powered up, ready to deliver a final blow to the colony's failing shields. On the Vengeance, Lieutenant Howard noticed the movement immediately. "Captain, 9 enemy vessels are heading back toward the colony." Davis had expected this. It was what he would have done in the enemy's position. "Perfect. They're dividing their forces." Commander Taylor looked concerned. "Sir, if those ships hit the colony's shields with concentrated fire—" "I know." "Davis, cut her off." "Lieutenant Pierce, what's the status of our main weapon?" "The MDC is at 80% charge, Captain. 5 more minutes until it's ready." Davis considered his options. If he pursued the ships heading for the colony, he would lose the tactical advantage he had gained. If he didn't, the colony might not survive the next bombardment. "Navigation, maintain current position," he ordered. "Commander Taylor, deploy our drones." The crew looked surprised. The combat drones were another classified technology, never before used in actual battle. "All 6, sir?" Taylor asked. "All 6, Davis confirmed. Program them to intercept the ships heading for the colony. Their mission is to delay, not destroy." 6 small bays opened on the Vengeance's hull. From each one, a sleek, unmanned craft emerged. They were about the size of small fighters, but with no cockpit or life support systems. Instead, they were packed with advanced engines, shields, and enough weaponry to harass much larger vessels. The drones accelerated at speeds that would have killed human pilots, racing to intercept the Krellnash ships before they could reach the colony. In the command bunker, Garcia was the first to notice. "New contacts, small craft approaching at high speed." "More Krellnash?" Governor Mills asked with dread. "No." Samantha studied her readings. "They have human energy signatures. I think they're from the Vengeance." The drones reached the Krellnash destroyers and immediately began complex evasive patterns while firing precision shots at the aliens' weapon systems. They weren't powerful enough to destroy the larger ships, but they could certainly disrupt their attack. Vextor received the reports with growing concern. Automated combat drones? With shields? The humans were not supposed to have such technology. His intelligence officers looked just as confused. "Our reports indicated their drone program was at least a decade from producing combat-ready units." The Supreme Hunter made a decision. "Recall all ships. Form a defensive sphere. This human vessel and its technology must be studied. We must learn how they've advanced so quickly." But it was too late for a strategic retreat. On the Vengeance, Lieutenant Pierce reported, "Matter displacement cannon at full charge, Captain." Davis nodded. "Target their command ship. Let's show them what humanity is truly capable of." The front section of the Vengeance began to glow with an eerie white light. The ship's power levels surged as energy was channeled into the experimental weapon. "MDC targeting solution locked," Pierce reported. "Firing in 3, 2, 1. A beam of blindingly bright energy shot from the Vengeance, crossing the space between it and Vextor's flagship in an instant. When it struck, there was no explosion, no fire. Instead, the Krellnash vessel seemed to shimmer for a moment. Then, horrifyingly, it began to come apart at a molecular level, dissolving from the outside in as its atomic bonds were systematically broken. On Proxima Prime, the colonists watched in awe as the enemy flagship simply disintegrated. "What kind of weapon could do that?" Garcia whispered. Samantha had no answer. None of them did. They were witnessing the deployment of technology that wasn't supposed to exist, wielded by a ship that had never been acknowledged. In just 20 minutes of battle, Earth's most dangerous ship had changed everything, and the message to the galaxy was clear. Humanity was not the weak, technologically inferior species everyone had believed. They had teeth, and they had just shown them. The Krell-Nash fleet froze in space. Their flagship was gone, dissolved into atoms by a weapon they had never seen before. Supreme Hunter Vextor, their commander, was dead. The remaining Krell-Nash ships stopped firing as their chain of command reset. On board the UES Vengeance, the bridge crew watched the enemy's confusion with grim satisfaction. The matter displacement cannon had worked even better than expected, but using it had drained much of their power reserves. MDC cooling cycle initiated, Lieutenant Pierce reported. Power levels at 40% and recovering. We won't be able to fire it again for at least 30 minutes. Captain Davis nodded. That's fine, I don't think we'll need to. He turned to Commander Taylor. Status of our combat drones? 5 still operational, 1 lost to enemy fire. They're continuing to harass the ships near the colony. Davis studied the tactical display. The Krell-Nash were reorganizing, but slowly. The loss of their leader had clearly shocked them. This was the moment to press the advantage. Open a channel to all Krell-Nash vessels, he ordered. Lieutenant Howard worked his communications console. Channel open, sir. Davis stood tall, his voice clear and commanding. Attention, Krell-Nash fleet. This is Captain Benjamin Davis of the PA. United Earthship Vengeance. Your flagship has been destroyed. Your attack on a peaceful human colony was unprovoked and will not be tolerated. You have 1 hour to withdraw from this system, or we will destroy every ship in your fleet. This is your only warning. He signaled for the channel to be closed. Commander Taylor moved closer to speak privately. Do you think they'll listen, sir? The Krell-Nash aren't known for retreating. They're also not known for facing weapons that can unmake their ships at the atomic level, Davis replied. Let's see what they choose to do. On Proxima Prime, the colony's situation was still dire. The shields had dropped to 2% power, but the bombardment from orbit had mostly stopped as the Krell-Nash ships pulled back to regroup. In the command bunker, Lieutenant Commander Garcia was organizing repair teams. We need those eastern generators back online. This pause in the attack might be our only chance. Governor Mills approached Samantha at her communication station. Can you contact the Earthship? We need to know if they can spare any resources to help us repair our shields. Samantha nodded and opened a channel. UES Vengeance, this is Proxima Prime Colony. Our shields are critically low at 2% power. Request technical assistance if possible. The response came quickly. Proxima Prime, this is Commander Taylor of the Vengeance. We're monitoring your shield status. Stand by for assistance. On. The bridge of the Vengeance, Captain Davis was already planning their next move. Commander, prepare a support team. We'll send 2 of our engineers down with portable shield generators. Yes, sir, Taylor replied, then paused. Sir, Fleet Command, we'll definitely consider this another violation of our orders. First revealing the ship, then using the MDC, and now sharing our technology with the colony. Davis looked at her steadily. Commander, what's the point of having advanced technology if we don't use it to save our people? Make the preparations. In space, the remaining Krell-Nash ships were forming a new battle formation. Their new commander, Sub-Hunter Dreklar, had taken control after Vextor's death. He faced a difficult decision. The Krell-Nash had never retreated from battle in their recorded history. Their warrior culture considered withdrawal a dishonor worse than death. But they had also never faced a weapon like the one the human ship carried. Dreklar reviewed the sensor data from the flagship's destruction. There was no defense against such a weapon. If the human captain was telling the truth, and they could fire it again. Sub-Hunter, one of his officers said. The human ship is launching a small craft toward the colony. Dreklar watched as a shuttle departed from the Vengeance heading for the planet's surface. It was escorted by 2 of the combat drones. Should we intercept? The weapons officer asked. No, Dreklar decided. Maintain position. I need time to consider our options. The shuttle from the Vengeance entered Proxima Prime's atmosphere 20 minutes later. It landed in the main plaza of New Portland, where a crowd of colonists had gathered despite the danger. The sight of an Earthship, any Earthship, was cause for hope. Two engineers in uniforms unlike any the colonists had seen before emerged from the shuttle. They carried equipment cases marked with symbols that weren't standard Earth military insignia. Lieutenant Commander Garcia and Governor Mills were there to meet them. One of the engineers stepped forward. "Lieutenant Nathan Cole, UES Vengeance," he said. "This is Specialist Kelly Ward. We've brought portable shield generators that should help stabilize your defenses until more permanent repairs can be made." "Thank you," Mills said, his voice thick with emotion. "We thought no one would reach us in time." Cole nodded. "Captain Davis received your distress call. The Vengeance was the closest ship." It wasn't exactly a lie, but it certainly wasn't the whole truth. The engineer didn't mention that the Vengeance wasn't supposed to exist, or that it had broken multiple direct orders to come to their aid. "We'll need access to your main shield generator facility," Specialist Ward said. Garcia led them toward the damaged power plant at the edge of the settlement. "This way. We've got crews already working, but our equipment is old. These colonies don't get the newest technology." Cole and Ward exchanged glances but said nothing. The technology they carried in their cases was classified. It wasn't supposed to be shared with anyone, not even other Earth military personnel, but Captain Davis had been clear: save the colony at all costs. In orbit, Captain Davis was giving the Krell Nash time to consider their options while he rebuilt the Vengeance's power reserves. The matter displacement cannon was slowly recharging, and the ship's regenerative shields were healing the damage they had taken. "Sir," Lieutenant Howard called out, "we're detecting movement in the Krell Nash fleet." Davis moved to the tactical display. The alien ships were changing formation again, but not into an attack pattern. They were aligning for faster-than-light travel. "They're preparing to leave," Commander Taylor said, sounding surprised. Davis nodded. "It seems their new commander values the lives of his crew more than Krell Nash pride. Good. Let's make sure they don't change their minds. Lieutenant Pierce, target our conventional weapons on their engines. Don't fire unless they move toward the planet." On the surface of Proxima Prime, the portable generators from the Vengeance were already making a difference. The colony's shield strength had increased to 15% and was rising. "This technology is remarkable," Garcia said as he watched the engineers work. "I've never seen anything like it." "It's new," Cole replied carefully. "Experimental." Samantha Wright rushed into the generator facility. "Governor, the Krell Nash ships are moving away from the planet." A cheer went up from the workers and colonists gathered there. After 3 weeks of constant fear and bombardment, the nightmare might finally be ending. In space, the first Krell Nash ships began to disappear into faster-than-light jumps. The retreat had begun. For the first time in their known history, the warrior species had decided that some enemies weren't worth fighting. On the bridge of the Vengeance, a small smile appeared on Captain Davis's face. "Log this," he said quietly to Commander Taylor. "The first documented retreat of a Krell Nash battle fleet." Taylor nodded. "History being made, sir, though I'm not sure how much of this will ever go into the official records." "Some things are more important than official records, Commander," Davis replied. 15,000 lives, for instance. As the last Krell Nash ship vanished from their sensors, the crew of Earth's most dangerous ship allowed themselves to relax slightly. The battle was won. The colony was saved, but they all knew the consequences of their actions would echo far beyond this single star system. 3 days after the battle, the colony of New Portland was beginning to rebuild. The UES Vengeance remained in orbit, a dark guardian watching over the people below. Repair teams from the ship had helped restore the colony's shields to full power. The engineers, Lieutenant Cole and Specialist Ward, had shared enough of their advanced technology to ensure the colonists could defend themselves if the Krell Nash ever returned. In the main plaza, Governor Mills stood before hundreds of gathered colonists. The fear that had marked their faces for weeks was gone, replaced by relief and gratitude. Behind him stood Captain Davis, who had finally come down to the surface after ensuring the Krell Nash fleet had truly left the system. "For 3 weeks," Mills said to the crowd, "we thought help would never arrive. We believed we were alone, too far from Earth for anyone to reach us in time. But we were wrong. He turned to look at Captain Davis. The UES vengeance came when we needed it most. Captain Davis and his crew risked everything to save us. The colonists cheered and applauded. Many wept openly. They had come so close to losing everything. Captain Davis stepped forward when the governor motioned to him. He wasn't comfortable with public speaking, but he understood what these people needed to hear. The vengeance responded to your distress. Call because that's what humanity does, he said simply. We protect our own. No colony is too distant, no outpost too small to deserve Earth's protection. What he didn't say was that the vengeance wasn't supposed to be here at all, that his decision to break orders and reveal the ship's existence would likely end his career. The colonists didn't need to know that. After the ceremony, Davis met privately with Governor Mills and Lieutenant Commander Garcia in the repaired command bunker. Samantha Wright was there too, still at her communication station, now helping coordinate with the Vengeance's crew. Captain, Mills said, we've received word that the UEF Nebraska has changed course to reach us. They'll arrive in 18 days. Davis nodded. Good. Fleet Command is sending other ships as well. This colony won't be left undefended again. Garcia looked at the captain curiously. Sir, if I may ask, what exactly is the Vengeance? We've never heard of a ship class like this before. A small smile touched Davis's lips. That's because it doesn't officially exist, Commander. The Vengeance is a prototype, the first of what we hope will be a new generation of defensive vessels, with weapons that can take apart ships at the molecular level, Samantha added, unable to hide her amazement. Among other capabilities, Davis said carefully, most of which are classified beyond top secret. Mills leaned forward. And yet you brought it here, revealed it to save us. Won't there be consequences? Davis's expression grew more serious. Almost certainly, but those are my concerns, not yours. What matters is that this colony is safe, and the Krell Nash have learned that humanity is not as defenseless as they believed. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Commander Taylor was receiving an encoded transmission from Earth Fleet Command. She read it twice before sending a message to the captain, asking him to return to the ship immediately. When Davis arrived back on the bridge an hour later, Taylor met him in his private ready room. Fleet Command has responded to our action report, sir, she said, handing him a datapad. Davis took it and read silently for several minutes. His face revealed nothing, but Taylor had served with him long enough to know he wasn't surprised by what he was reading. They're sending Admiral Jenkins to take command of the Vengeance, he said finally. We're ordered to remain in orbit until he arrives in 2 weeks. And you, sir? Taylor asked, though she suspected she knew the answer. I'm to be relieved of command and return to Earth to face a review board. Davis set the datapad down. As expected. Taylor shook her head. It's not right, sir. You saved 15,000 lives. By revealing a classified vessel and using experimental weapons technology without authorization, Davis replied. There are always consequences for such actions, Commander. I knew that when I made the decision. He stood and looked out the viewport at Proxima Prime below. I would make the same choice again. News of the battle at Proxima Prime was spreading quickly through both human space and beyond. The story of a single Earth ship defeating a Krell Nash fleet was being told in every port and colony. Details were exaggerated with each retelling, but the core truth remained. Humanity had revealed technology far beyond what anyone thought they possessed. In distant star systems, other alien species were receiving reports about the matter displacement, Cannon and the Vengeance's other capabilities. Species that had viewed humans as weak, as easy targets, were reassessing their plans. If Earth had one such ship, might they have others? What other weapons were they hiding? 2 weeks later, a small fleet of Earth vessels arrived at Proxima Prime. The UEF Dauntless carried Admiral Jenkins, who came aboard the Vengeance with a team of high-ranking officers. The crew stood at attention as Captain Davis formally handed over command of the ship. Captain Davis, Admiral Jenkins said after the ceremony, Fleet Command has reviewed your actions at Proxima Prime. Davis stood tall, ready to accept whatever punishment was coming. Yes, Admiral. Your decision to break orders and reveal the vengeance was unauthorized and reckless, Jenkins said sternly. Then his expression softened slightly. It was also the right call. 15,000 colonists are alive because of that decision. Davis looked surprised for the first time since the battle. Sir? Don't misunderstand me, Captain. There will still be consequences. But sometimes doing the right thing means accepting those consequences. Jenkins handed him a data pad. These are your new orders. You're being reassigned. Davis read the orders and looked up in disbelief. Sir, this says I'm to command the UES Defiance when it's commissioned next month. That's another Vengeance-class vessel. Jenkins nodded. The existence of this technology can't be kept secret any longer. The Krell-Nash know. Soon every species in the sector will know. Earth needs captains who understand when to use such power, and more importantly, when not to. As Admiral Jenkins left to inspect the rest of the ship, Commander Taylor approached her captain. It seems your career isn't over after all, she said with a smile. Davis looked down at the orders again. No, it's just beginning, and so is a new chapter for humanity. On the surface of Proxima Prime, the colonists were unaware of these developments. They knew only that the ship that had saved them remained in orbit, a silent guardian. What they didn't know was that soon, more ships like the Vengeance would protect Earth's colonies throughout space. The message had been sent to the galaxy. Humans protect their own. Threaten one human settlement, and you may discover just how dangerous humanity can be when provoked. The Krell-Nash had learned this lesson. Others would too in time. As for Captain Benjamin Davis, he would soon take command of Earth's second most dangerous ship. And if another colony sent a distress call, he would answer. Because that's what humans do. They come when called, even when no help seems possible. And sometimes they bring their strongest, most dangerous ships with them.